You catch me at this phase in life where I'm learning that now. I'm learning to step back and be like, girl, you did that. Like, no, you did that. Not, and everybody will tell me that. Like, I used to struggle with, everybody says I'm so amazing. Why don't I feel amazing? I'd be like, okay, you think I'm amazing. And I would talk to people every day and I'd be like, I'm not feeling that. But now I'm feeling that.
Welcome back to the Leaving a Rich Legacy podcast. I am your host, Jessica Rich. And as you all know, this podcast is more than just a series of conversations. It's a love letter to my younger self and to anyone that is seeking courage and empowerment within the layers of our shared experiences in the Black and Brown community. In our new series, I Choose Me, we are diving deep into the transformative journeys of our incredible guests who have all bravely made the choice to put themselves first. Together, we'll unpack the conversations often left unheard in the Black community, but we'll celebrate the power of self love, resilience, and authenticity. So, join me as we amplify these vital stories so each of us can leave a richer legacy for the generations to come. I am super excited for our guest today. Our special guest is Dr. April Murdaugh, and she is going to share all the amazing things that she is doing within the community, how she is prioritizing herself, and how that has impacted her in her journey and success. Dr. April, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be a part of this. I think this is a great conversation that needs to be had. So thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to jump right into it. Dr. April, I have had the opportunity to be blessed to know you for the last several years, but you have an amazing story and journey, and you are touching so many people. So I just want to start off and learn a little bit about you. Share with our audience, who is Dr. April? Tell us a little about yourself.
Wow, yeah, that's such a loaded question because years ago I would say, well, I'm a mom and I'm this and I'm a wife, and now I have found that I am a woman. I feel so empowered. I'm a woman in the community that empowers other women when it comes to finances. I think that I'm a woman who loves education. I love empowerment. I love encouraging. And kind of how I arrived at this place in my life is a lot of mistakes. I mean, a lot of financial mistakes. I've lost everything 3 times. I've been homeless. I've been widowed. I've been divorced, and all of those experiences kind of brought me to where I am, which made me start my firm. I have a wealth management firm here in Jacksonville, Florida, where I work primarily with women, high achieving women, and just help them navigate the financial maze. And so that's kind of who I am, I guess. Yes, I would say that.
I love that you like the question and that you can share that your response has evolved over time because I feel personally that at times that question is answered based on what society says we should be, what
Mm.
our families have conditioned us to be without us owning the title and description of who we truly are. So I love your response. Now, Dr. April, you told us a little bit about, your business and what you're doing, but can you share a little bit about your journey of choosing yourself? Was there a pivotal moment in your life where you had to prioritize yourself to get you to where you are today?
Yeah, I think it really was in 2008. I was in a marriage that was um, a lot of women stay in because society in the church tells us that, well, if your spouse is not cheating, then you should stay. But ignoring all the other types of abuses that we women go through. And for me, it was, I was with someone that didn't have the same level of ambition, really was not a good fit for my children. I had a child prior to the marriage, and I had been in it for 10 years, and I really didn't see going anywhere. I didn't see getting out. We were very entrenched in the church. And I woke up one day and I had been unhappy from the minute I walked down the aisle. I will say that. I knew when I said I do that I didn't. And I was pregnant when I got married. And that's what you do. That's what the pastor told us to do. Well, you just need to go ahead and get married. And so My ex-husband was significantly older than me, and his philosophy was, he didn't have to put in so much effort to work. As long he didn't beat me, and he went to church, and so it was all good. It didn't matter if I worked two jobs and I had this many side hustles to take care of our family. And I had just gotten tired. I got tired. I remember waking up one day and literally moving out of the bedroom and moving into the living room and saying, I'm leaving. And of course, everybody thought I was crazy, and I thought I was crazy. And I mean, who leaves? Your husband's going to church. I mean, most women in our community, they want that, especially if you identify as Christian. And so I told him I was leaving. I was at a really good logistics company. I had reached the ceiling, and I applied for a job in Jacksonville, and they took me. And when they took me, I packed up what I could in a commercial van and in a van with my kids, and I escaped a bad marriage. I escaped a situation that many women stay in for years and years and years. And I think that's when I chose me. It took me a long time to get to forgive myself and realize that I was choosing me, that I knew I deserved better, I deserved more. I was giving more than I was receiving. And I feel like that was the pivotal moment. In 2008, I moved here March 15th, 2008 to Jacksonville. Changed the whole trajectory of my life. I wouldn't be where I am had I stayed in that situation. So I think that is the moment I would say that I chose myself.
You talked about doing what is right, what society says you're supposed to do, what the church says that you're supposed to do, getting married, like that's where it's supposed to happen, right? But you made a decision to walk away. When you decided to choose yourself, did you have to set boundaries with people who did not understand your decision?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I had to set boundaries with myself because when you're so used to living a boundary-less life, which is what I lived, I didn't know what that looked like. So I really had to set them with myself. Who was I going to listen to? And then really figuring out for myself, well, did I do the right thing? Because immediately after I did that, and I divorced, I found out my husband was committing adultery, and that was a whole. And when I divorced him, he was able to get married like at the drop of a hat. And people were saying to me, you see, you did the wrong thing. So I had to block that out, like making me feel like being single was a disease. That no, he was happily married. He got happily married after you divorced him, and you're still single. So I had to first deal with the voices that I was listening to in myself, the things that I allowed to penetrate me all the years prior to making the move. And then yes, then I had to just block out the noise and say, I only want to talk to people that's gonna uplift and encourage me. I don't want to hear, oh, I didn't do this right, or I didn't want to hear it anymore because I was telling myself that enough, and I had to deal with that. So I sought therapy. I went to divorce care twice. Most people just do it once. I needed it twice because I still had a lot of those issues that I was dealing with, listening to what people were saying, allowing people to speak into my life and tell me things that maybe I was doing wrong, or now I'm alone and this is what you always wanted. I mean, you're a strong, independent woman. You wanted this. Like, it was a lot. So I will say, yeah, I had to set boundaries, but it started with me first. And then eventually, when I got strong enough, I was able to set them with other people.
I think it's powerful when you can understand you have to set boundaries with yourself. I think that's something along my journey that I had to realize before I could say no to someone else. I need to learn to say no to myself. Stopping
Mhm.
those negative thoughts in your head and the pressures and how you speak to yourself, and boundaries you absolutely have to set them with yourself as well. You said something that I think I would love to hear more about, but also having to forgive yourself. And when I think about choosing myself, there are many times that I had to say, like, you need to forgive yourself so you can move on. So for you, what did that look like? And how has that played a part in how you show up today?
Yeah, I think for me, forgiving myself was getting, first of all, forgiving the relationship that I got myself into, realizing that I was a product of some of my experiences, some of the things that I saw in the relationships that were around me, my parents, my family, and realizing that they only did the best that they could with what they had. And so my decisions were the best that I could with the information I had before me, and that I didn't have malicious intent. I mean, I married this person. It wasn't like, I was trying to marry for money or I was malicious. I was in my heart of hearts doing what I believed to be the right thing at that point in time. As I evolved and I grew and I began to love myself and see myself as this powerful woman, I realized that it wasn't the best decision for me. So forgiving myself was really realizing that, hey, I only had these tools in my toolbox, and that's the only thing that I could use to build this house. And it was dilapidated, but I didn't, this is all I had before me. So I had to forgive myself for that and let that go, and then realize that I need, like Maya says, when I know better, I do better. And so for me, it was I needed to talk to somebody. I needed somebody to tell me I wasn't crazy completely, because I had put myself in this box and I had these dreams and visions and things that I had been sold. What woman hasn't been told, oh yeah, be married and you have this great life and you have this partner, and so I had this in my head, and my expectations led to disappointment because I was expecting things from people that weren't qualified to give them to me. And I had to realize that too. He wasn't a bad person. He just wasn't qualified to give it to me. So, those things and understanding that I didn't have the proper discernment, and be honest, I didn't listen to myself. Like I told you, I knew going. I remember leaving the wedding ceremony, going home and going in my room and being like, "What the heck have I done?" Like I was not the happy bride. So yeah, it was about forgiving myself for the mistakes. And then I had children involved. And it wasn't a necessarily nice environment that they were in. So I had to ask them for forgiveness. Like, look, mom, I thought I was doing the best thing. I didn't make the best decisions. I'm really sorry I put you guys in this situation. Thank God it was not abuse or physical or any sexual thing going on. But, it impacts your children, and I had to apologize to them for that. And they were clear. They were like, "We're so glad." And they were young, 16, 9, and 5. And they were like, "We're so glad you got out because we knew you weren't happy." That's what my 16-year-old told me. So I think just, realizing that I didn't know as much as I knew later on. And I needed that experience to make me wiser. Now, it can't nothing run across me now. I'm a lot wiser now.
Okay. And I love that you can embrace that that was a part of your journey. Sometimes we get stuck in the decisions that we made, and that prevents us from moving in life, and we're just in limbo. But you're able to take that and help apply that to the things that you do now, or just make it a part of your journey, but you're moving on. Like you said, I'm wiser now. So you can't it won't happen again. You talked about evolving though, throughout that process. So when you think about success and happiness, and what it meant to you when you were younger, because I think society plays a huge part in that. I think families, parents, grandparents have a big say in what success and happiness looks like. So for you, as you have evolved, how has your outlook on success and happiness changed?
Wow, I was raised in an environment where it was performance driven. So if I performed, then I was loved. And so a lot of, and I don't know that children or young people can differentiate. Like if you do good in school, then I love you more. Or if you, make mommy feel good, and whatever it is, you wash the dishes and you clean the house. So I was in a very performance driven environment, based environment. And I was also um, spoken positively to. So I did when I because I performed well, then everybody loved me. It's like, oh, April's such a great child. April's so good, and da da da. And so after I got older, I realized that it was a facade. It was my way of getting love for people to love me. So if I did good things and I was a good wife and I was a good child and I was a good mother, then I would get more love. And so for me, it was like realizing that just now, honestly, to be quite honest with you, Jessica, my children just left home. I'm done parenting, and I'm still in this journey of I am enough. I love me. I remember times I would look at my body or look at my face and I didn't love myself. I didn't like myself. But when I performed, when I got A's, when I got my degrees, I have 4 college degrees, when I achieved success. So I had money and I was able to buy my kids this. And it was like I had this badge of success because of all the things that I did. But in my heart of hearts, one, I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know what I liked to do because I was so focused on making everybody else happy or making everybody else like me. And then two, I didn't like myself. So I just started getting into taking care of me. And I know it may sound superficial, like taking care of me medically, going and get my skin done the way I want, getting my nails done. I was the dream to go get my pedicures and manicures every 2 weeks. I remember being married, like, oh my God, when I make enough money, I can do that. And then I tried to not do it because I was trying to cut costs. And I was like, no, this is me. I like this. So I'm still growing. I'm still in this whole metamorphosis. And I like it. It's fun. I now I'm realizing what I like to wear, things I like to do, things I don't like to do. Like now I can say, no, you know what? I'm not doing that. Before I just show up because that was the thing to do. So to answer your question a long way, I'm still in that phase. It's exciting because I'm at a point in my life that, I don't have to please anybody but April. And that is so cool now.
That is inspiring, and for me, it's beautiful to hear that you are at a place in life where you understand that you're still growing, you're still evolving. I think some people assume that the journey ends, there's a destination, but we just continue to evolve and grow and learn about ourselves no matter where you are in life. And for you to say you tried new things, I think sometimes it's very difficult for us to try new things to understand what we truly like. Maybe I don't like
Hmm.
Pilates, I don't like
Hmm.
running, I don't like going to the beach, but we do certain things because we feel like we're supposed to like it. So I love that you're at a place where you're like, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. That's important for us. And it's important along our self care journey, which you know that I'm a huge self care advocate.
Yes.
I see that you are also a self care advocate on your social media platforms. And when you think about all the things that you're doing, right, in addition to your business, you're a professor, why is it important for you? And you kind of answered it, but why is it important for you to be intentional about self care? And how do you make time to fill up your cup with everything that you have going on?
I think just choosing to show up for me is important. And I'm the only one that's gonna take care of me and love me. I'm single. I've been single 17 years. My children are grown. My expectations are, first of all, I'm gonna be very old. And I don't want to depend on anybody to take care of me. And I don't want to look back. And this is my biggest thing. I don't want to look back and go, gosh, I wish I tried that. Gosh, I wish I did that. So I'm in that phase of life. So one thing I just started doing is, and this may sound so corny and so like, I don't know, but I signed up for monthly massages. Like, I'm gonna get a monthly massage. I exercise because I'm trying to keep all the health issues and the genetic things that we as black women kind of inherit, hypertension, diabetes. I'm in menopause, and so I got this extra couple of rolls of belly fat, and so all the things, right? And so I'm doing that. I love exercise. In full transparency, I struggle with depression, mainly circumstantial depression. And so if I exercise, that makes me feel good about myself. It makes me feel good about what I'm doing to keep myself in shape. But yeah, I signed up for weekly monthly massages. I make sure that I'm on my nail tech's rotation. I have a personal person that I go to and I get my feet done and my nails done. That is important to me. I just signed up for aesthetics, so I go next week and I have someone doing some stuff on my skin that I want to do. Like I'm doing all. I just hired a cleaning lady for my house. She starts tomorrow, and so and people go, you live by yourself. Like you, what do you need to clean? No, I want somebody to clean my house. I want to come in on Fridays and it's fresh. And then I actually take off on Fridays and Saturdays. That's what I call my Sabbath. So I do not work or do anything on the Sabbath. I do whatever I want to do. I get a bucket of popcorn. My dog and I lay around. I eat popcorn. I lay on my couch. I watch Netflix. I read whatever I want to do. I'm not on anyone's schedule. So I do make time to just step away from work. And before, I was one of those people that, the grind is real. It was sexy to always be on the grind. It means you were getting your money and you were doing these things. And I was angry and I was frustrated with myself that I had to work so hard as a Black woman. And I just felt like this year, especially, is the year of ease for me, and I will not work as hard. I do not have to work as hard. And I just really getting in touch with that, the fact that I'm good enough and I don't have to do all this hard work. And those are some of the things that I'm doing for self care right now. Yeah, those are some things.
Love that you said, I will not, and will not work as hard, and you don't have to work as hard because I think, especially as Black women, we do a lot of, I have to, I need to. And it just mentally puts us in this position that we overwork ourselves. I
Mhm.
think that we are naturally overachievers. We want to do all the things, wear all the hats. And to hear that you're at a place where you are very intentional about the things that you want to do is important. Usually, when I hear people say this is probably corny, it's something they absolutely love. I already knew when you said that, it's something that is important to you. And I don't know why, but I hear a lot of people say, this is probably corny. But then when you talk about whatever it is, they're super passionate about it. So I say that to say to the audience, if you think it's corny, that means you probably absolutely love it. So do it. And if other people don't understand, that's fine. That is not for
Mhm.
you to take on. If they don't understand why you do it, definitely do it for yourself. Now, I love that you mentioned that you have a cleaner because I think that is important,
Mhm.
that it's okay that you can have someone come in and clean your home. So, for the women who may struggle, men or women actually, but for the people who may struggle with that thought process, like I should be able to clean my own house. Did you struggle with that at any point? And if so,
Oh,
how did you overcome the fact that it is okay to bring someone in to help you?
Oh my gosh, yes. I struggled for years. It wasn't like I couldn't afford to do this, right? It was this perception, I think, in our community, right? That again, we've got to be all things to all people, and we could fry it in the pan and bring home the bacon and that whole mindset. And then why would you let someone come in and you think you all that, especially as Black women, you think you all that. I mean, you got somebody cleaning your house. I struggled with that. I actually looked for validation from my friends. And believe it or not, a couple of them had cleaning people that they were hush hush about. And I was like, girl, why you ain't tell me? You would have freed me a long time ago. So that was helpful. But then it was really about my time. Like if I calculated how much time, and I liked cleaning my house. It wasn't like, this magnanimous chore that I hated. I didn't mind. It was therapeutic sometimes. But when I thought about the time that I spent, and if I equated it to how much money I was losing if I could be doing something else, even if it is nothing, even if it's recharging, or tomorrow while she's cleaning my house, I'm going to have lunch with a friend I haven't had lunch with in a long time. I wouldn't be able to do that because I'd have to be cleaning my house this weekend. So I think just first I did look for outside validation. I don't recommend that. I do recommend you getting peace with it, but then when I did get peace with it and realized that I could afford it, it wasn't like I was doing something reckless. And two, that my time was valuable. and somebody else could do it better than me. I mean, she could do much better cleaning my blinds than I can. I mean, I don't even have the patience. And when I gave into that, then I realized, okay, the money that I'm spending, it's worth it. It's worth for me to spend time with my friends, go to the library. I'm a geek. I like the library. I could spend the time in the library. I think she's gonna be in my house 5 hours, she said. You know how much I could do for me during that time? So I did finally acquiesce and realize that I'm worth it. I think a lot of people, us women, don't think that we're worth it. You know, we have this struggle mentality that we've got to do it all, and we have this martyrdom, thing that we're gonna wear on our chest, and it's so overrated. And so I guess I just gave in eventually, and I'm excited about it.
You are worth it. I want to repeat that because I honestly agree a lot of times we block different opportunities or opportunities to rest because we don't think we're worth it. It is a badge of honor to say you do all of these things, but at the end of the day, you're worn out or you don't have the energy to do the things that you enjoy. So I love that you are like, even if it's to do nothing, she's coming in and she's coming in to help. Now I know that you are a money person and you help people manage their money. So I want to also say to the viewers that you have spoken on before how managing your money is a form of self-care. So even though you may not be able to afford it every month, maybe you have somebody come in quarterly and you budget to have someone come in to do a deep cleaning, but don't feel like whatever someone else says about you bringing in someone in, it is a reflection of them. If they can't afford it, if they don't think that they're worthy of it, does not mean that it has to be a reflection of you.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So, Dr. April, one thing that I have noticed about you, and as a businesswoman, as someone who loves to pour into other women, the community, in like almost a mentoring space as you reach other women and you inspire them, you are very, I would say, authentic. Like I think that you show up authentically as yourself. And with society, with the social media space, it can be difficult to stay true to yourself because there can be pressures to look at someone else's journey. I like to say a lot, there is this spirit of comparison. Like, how did they get there before me? I've been doing this for 20 years. They've been doing it for 10. How did they get there? So, how have you stayed true to yourself and not be influenced by others outside and just show up authentically as Dr. April?
I can't honestly say that I haven't had those feelings, thoughts, or even said those things out of my mouth. I definitely have had the FOMO. I definitely have experienced the jealousy and the envy. Especially knowing how hard I work and I'm not where I wanted to be based on what I saw from others. I cannot necessarily say that I didn't feel that way, I didn't speak that way, and I didn't think that way because I would be lying to you if I did. But I do realize my faith for me is extremely, extremely important. And because that is important to me, I just take those feelings a lot to God. And I just tell him how I feel and I address it as him. But I just am very open and honest about that. I will say that as I've matured and grown, I realize that, my journey is my journey. God has the people He wants me to pour into available for me, and He knows how to get them around me. He knows how to get me around them, and I'm comfortable with that. I think what happens is in our society, especially in the age of social media, the spirit of contentment is gone. We're never satisfied or grateful for what we have in our circle. And I had to realize, like, I am blessed in a lot of ways. I may not have, what my friends have. I've had friends that I know I have prayed for, I have spoken positively over, and they have wonderful marriages, and we've been praying for relationships, and they're there, and I'm still single. And I used to like get jealous about that. I used to be upset about that. So I would just take it to God, like, really? Like, okay, what's going on? Like, so I'm not going to tell you that I haven't felt that way, but I'll be honest, I don't know any other way to be but me. I've always been a straight shooter. My kids know that. They tell me straight up, my we know you got bullshit radar. I mean, I do. I'm a straight shooter. I can see through the BS. I don't really take it, and I'm gonna tell you what I think as tactfully as I can. So I think that's the thing that's authentic about myself in the career that I've chosen, in this business I've chosen. This is a male, pale, and stale industry, very white male driven. um, and they want you to be wearing blue suits, and they want you, who has locks in this business, who has, you don't look like that, you don't behave like that. But I just feel like there are people that I am supposed to touch, and I'm okay with that now. Well, I can tell you in the past, like I said, I've had those feelings, I've had those thoughts. I think with time, with maturity, and with growing in my faith, it has helped me to be more secure and more content in where I am and where He's chosen to lead me, and I'm good there now.
So I love that you acknowledge like there were times where you were praying and you still supporting your sisters and others, but then it was a reflection of like, now wait a minute. Um I to own that is huge because it happens. I've absolutely, as a single woman, I had a friend that got married and I told her, I was like, I had to ask, like, do I feel a certain, and I did not, but it was that moment of reflection, like, I'm here fully supporting her. Do I feel a certain way? Am I feeling jealous or, and I did not, but it's okay if you have that moment and you can, like you say, recognize it and move on and not stay stuck in that place. Now, you mentioned something that you are very successful in your industry and you are, I think you're a people person. You are a person that people gravitate to because of your approach and the way that you care. I'll just be honest when it comes to finances. And when I think about leaving a rich legacy, it's not just about finances, but it does play a huge part when you think about setting
Mhm.
up the next generation. But in your industry, you mentioned, you may not look like the typical person that people expect to show up. And me working in the corporate space, there's been times where I've questioned my appearance. I've worn the big hair. I've worn, right now, I got a brush cut. I love red lipstick. I know you love red lipstick. I love red lipstick.
Mhm.
And people have told me that I need to tone it down. So for you in your industry, how did you come to this place where you can embrace showing up physically how you want to? Maybe you struggle with that at one point, but being able to wear the locks and being able to wear your red lipstick and not fit into this mold of what the industry has portrayed over the years.
I think for me, it was, I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I come in, I'm articulate, I'm intelligent, I know my industry, I'm good at what I do, and having that self confidence, the rest of it doesn't even matter. And I think people see that before they start judging me or looking at me. Or maybe they are looking at me and judging me. But the fact that I know what I'm doing, I'm good at what I do, I'm confident in what I do, I'm knowledgeable, I'm credentialed. So, I have all the things. I may not look like the traditional financial advisor, investment person. That's fine. But when I speak to you, I know what I'm talking about. People cannot refute the information that I provide them. They cannot refute the results. So I'm good there. Now, if you want, somebody with the relaxer and the high heels and all that, that's fine, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have everything you need to serve your client. And to be honest, I mean, wealth looks so many different ways. I think in this business, I've been told, like, you need to be carrying Louis bags. Like, why don't you have these big name brand bags? I'm a suede and real leather girl. I mean, I know what I like, and I'm good there. And at the end of the day, I mean, if you want to judge me based on how I look, judge my ability to provide you the right advice, the right guidance based on how I look, then I'm really not going to be the advisor for you. And I'm good there. Now, I remember entering this industry and initially conforming to that. And man, my feet hurt. I was uncomfortable. I hate skirts. Please don't put me in a pencil skirt. I'm not your girl. I'm not wearing a pencil skirt. They say pants are too masculine. I like big pants. I like to feel comfortable. That's when I feel like I can show up best for my clients and be at ease and we can chop it up and have a good time. And so every now and again, New York comes out because I'm from New York. And so I can get down with the rest of them and I can be as professional as you want me to be. So I think it again, time and maturity and really growing and knowing who I am. And you don't really know that at the beginning of a career. At the beginning of a career, you're just trying to conform to what they tell you to do. And then as you grow and you learn and you morph, you develop your own identity. And I'm real good. I used to have my hair super short like yours before I lost it. And they had a problem with that. I remember working at a college. I was in higher ed before I moved in this industry, and I wanted to lock my hair. And I went to lock it. And you guys, if you know, you start out with little bitty locks. It's not the coolest look, you know. And I would jazz it up. And my boss at the time, I came in, she said, "Oh, that's not going to work here. Like this, that just really demeans your professionalism. You're such a smart girl. Like, why would you? That is not." That lady is on my Facebook page now, and she tells me how beautiful my hair looks now. And that was like 30 years ago. She told me this. And now she's, oh my gosh, you're doing so great. And I wanted to say so bad, you remember you had a problem with these locks? So, I took them out my head when she did that. I didn't, I took them out and I conformed. So I think with maturity, with time, and with coming into knowing who you are, and I'm gonna tell you now, you gotta show up right. You can't show up messy now. You gotta know your stuff. You know, you gotta be able to articulate, and it's gotta make sense. But be yourself. After all that, big hair, don't care. I don't.
Big hair, don't care. That I love that because I love big hair. Big hair, don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dr. April, you are a very confident person. I can hear that in your response. I know, like you said, some of that is you know your stuff. So, you are have been very invested in your career in your industry. So you know what you're talking about. But at times, it is difficult to be confident in yourself and to make sure that you stay in the state of confidence and not self sabotage. So, for you, is there anything that you specifically do to be intentional to maintain your confidence and to speak positively to yourself?
I hang around with people who speak positively to me. I do. I hang around with good people who think the world of me and I think the world of them. So I think your circle definitely matters. And it is a mindset thing too. So I spend a lot of time reading and listening to books. I listen to podcasts. I'm a podcast junkie. I love listening to Audible books. I'm always on YouTube listening. So I want to learn. I want to grow. I always want to improve myself. I think that definitely gives me the confidence when I don't feel confident. And imposter syndrome is real. I cannot say that I haven't battled imposter syndrome, especially when you're building a business and you're telling people how to invest their money who have significantly more wealth than you do, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I, you got a $10 million portfolio, and I'm still in the six figures. Like, how am I qualified to even tell you what to do? And so I really struggled with that. But I thought about it like they're good at what they did to build that wealth. And I'm good at what I do to help them to preserve it. And so, though I had to have self talk, I have affirmations every day. I have them in my Bible, on my mirror. I have a prayer closet where I just sit there and I read those affirmations. There's this affirmation app where I recorded affirmations, the things that I struggled with about myself the most. I recorded them in a positive and I play them every day. Even when I wake up at 3 in the morning, I turn them on and it just talks to me about me. So it takes work to keep your mind right, to continue to believe that you are worth it, you're qualified, you can do this. It's not like you arrive there. Every day, it's like what they say, a new level, a new devil. I was talking to a group of attorneys the other day, yesterday, and they have a client, that we're dealing with this $98 million. I don't have $98 million, but this client is depending on us to help them with their assets. So, I got to get in my affirmations. I'm like, ooh, what do I say to this person? What kind of conversations do we have? So I think your circle, I think working on your mindset, I think affirmations, I believe reading and educating yourself is extremely important to not only getting there, but staying there. Because you could get there, but you got to stay there. People will just see that you don't believe in yourself. They will see it. It'll come through that you're desperate, that you're insecure, that you're uncomfortable. And so the more time you spend around people that are doing better than you, I think and I'm gonna end there's this saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yes.
And sometimes I look around, I'm like, ooh, I am the smartest person. I need another room. And so I pray, God, can you get me in another circle? Because I've outgrown this. Nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong with the people, but I need to get to the next level. And I'm very intentional about that. So I think all of those things have helped me get to where I am and it's helping me stay here. It's not an overnight, it's not a one and done. You gotta keep working.
I love that you touched on being intentional about your circle. And I say that specifically because I've encountered a lot of people who feel like as an adult, it's difficult to network and build relationships with people and friendships. And I personally believe that you're never too old to meet new people and have connections. It's all about intentionality and to a point, there's different seasons in our life where we'll be isolated and there's others where having a strong circle and support is so important. So I love that you talked about that. Can you also share along your journey how important it has been to have a community? Because I meet a lot of people, I coach a lot of clients who, like, I don't have a community, I'm not close with my family, and I don't want it. But there is such a beauty and having people who lift you up, who are rooting you on, you're rooting them on. So for your journey, how has that played a part in shaping you into the person you are today?
That's an area I struggled with as well because I'm an only child. And as an only child, I've always done it all myself. And so if it was to be, it's always been up to me, right? And I've kind of lived life that way. So I never really depended on people until recently. I think God sent some really special women in my space. And it was just organic. It just kind of happened. And then now, actually, over the last couple of years, I've been intentional about, okay, I want community. So I want a faith community of people that believe like me so that I can fellowship with them and be my authentic self with them, good and bad. And then I want a group of sisters that I can do that too. And slowly but surely, he's been doing that. He's been introducing me to people. I think what happens is when we hear the word community, we think it's this big group of people, and all these women are taking these girls trips, and it really isn't. Like I have one friend that I walk with every day, 3 miles a day. So when I go to Orange Theory, that's my community. And then after I meet her at the Y and we walk and we talk about our day, and then we end our 3 mile walk with prayer. And then she's a part of my community. Then I have another community friend that I worked with when I was in higher ed, and she's a part of my community. And then I have a professional community of a few women that I respect and I can talk to about my struggles in a really confidential setting. So I think that you can have pockets of community for different aspects of your life. and you can also have this big magnanimous group of women. I just don't think that's it. I think it's small but mighty people who you both are reciprocating, pouring into each other, and you can be truly authentic. I'm telling, if I can't tell you my struggles, I can't be your friend. I have to feel safe around you to be able to tell you, girl, my account was negative. Ooh, how did that happen? Oh my goodness, I messed up with this person again. I need to feel comfortable. So I am just now becoming intentional about building community. And I think when we set our mind to it, I know it's weird. I say it all the time until recently. It's like you guys say, you coaches say, you are what you attract. And if you think this nice to be like, but I'm thinking it and I don't know, it ain't coming. Like, what? That's hogwash. And it really is true. I think once you set your mind and your intentions, you do draw to you what you want and who you are. And so I think once you start pouring into yourself and loving yourself, then you attract the right people that should be a part of your community. And it's not going to be a lot of them. It might be one or two. And I'm good with that because everybody don't need to know my business like that anyway. So, I'm on that journey now. I couldn't find a church. I'm going to a church. I've been in different churches for years. And now I'm like, okay, I'm going to go here and I'm going to find the community because there's got to be people in here, one or two that are just like me. And I found it. So I think the whole intentionality thing, the whole energy thing, the whole speaking what you want thing, it is real, it works. And that's how I'm building my community now.
Awesome. And I love being honest that you're just getting to this place where you're okay because we're never too old to
Mhm.
start a new community, to create a new circle, to connect with people. I think that's important part of our journey. So I'm happy that you highlighted. Like I struggle with that, and now I'm able to embrace it. Dr. April, so I know that just me observing you on social media and just know some of your successes, you are doing some amazing things and you have a lot of accolades. So, are you a person that celebrates themselves? Like, are you comfortable with celebrating yourself?
You know, I'm just getting there too, right? So listen, I have my girl. I remember when I was working on my doctorate, and there was a small cohort of Black women, and we just bonded. And we would call ourselves the BBBs because we were all single parent women, and we were raising our kids, and we were working on our doctors, and we were going to school full time. And I came up with this: we're some bad bees. And so we would call each other that, right? Oh my God, BBB alert. We would do things like that. Or you're in the, I would tell my kids when they do great stuff like, okay, you're in the club. So I think just that was the way that I celebrated, I think, was just, um, just speaking it out and sharing the successes. But I never really like sat back and spent time like relishing in it or celebrating the success, I guess, in the way I guess people think. I've always been the person that's like on to the next. Like you get to this point, and you're like, okay, great, I did that. Now what's next? I want to do this. And never stepping back and taking time like to smell the roses, as they say. I'm again, you catch me at this phase in life where I'm learning that now. I'm learning to step back and be like, girl, you did that. Like, no, you did that. Not, and everybody will tell me that. Like I used to struggle with everybody says I'm so amazing. Why don't I feel amazing? I'd be like, okay, you think I'm amazing. And I would talk to people every day and I'd be like, I'm not feeling that. But now I'm feeling that. And then, now it's like I can say thank you. When people are like, oh my God, you killed that, Dr. A, or da da da, thank you. Before I'd be like, oh, ain't nothing but the Lord. You know how we do. And I know it's nothing, I wouldn't be here. They already know that. Thank you. That's right. You are absolutely right. I worked hard. I appreciate that. I'm just getting there where I can accept those compliments and respond in that way and be like, girl, yeah, you did that. You rocked that. So again, it's this whole growth thing. You caught me at a time in my life where I maybe it's midlife crisis, I don't know, but I am at a place where it's like, yeah, I'm a BBB and I'm gonna own that.
You you said that I'm going to own that. And you have to. When you choose yourself, you have to own that. No one can own it for you. No one can help you know your worth, and no one can celebrate you like you can celebrate yourself. And I love that you touched on the fact that people will tell you that you are amazing and you didn't feel that. A lot of times I see people minimize their achievements. So I will say, Dr. April, you are doing a great job. And the response will be, oh, no, no, it's nothing. No, it is something. Like I'm doing an amazing job. And it's okay to embrace and accept compliments because that to me is it's self-doubt, it's somewhat of self-sabotaging, and it goes back to how we speak to ourselves. If you can't accept a compliment, then that means that you're not going to be able to celebrate and, recognize the things that you're doing. So I love that you are at a place where you can say, I used to do that, but now that I am amazing, I am doing all the things, and you can sit in that. So, Dr. April, I've asked a lot of questions, and I just have to ask you, is there anything else that you would like to share with us about your I Choose Me journey and how you are prioritizing yourself and your well being?
I think the biggest thing for me on this journey is forgiving myself. And I think it's taken me a long time to get there where I forgave myself for the multiple mistakes that I made, the fact that I didn't feel like, and still struggle with feeling like I am where I need to be in life, and measuring myself against other people's successes. So I think if I could say anything, is work on forgiving you. Release it, let it go. It was a moment in time. You're over it now, and move forward. There's better, greater lies ahead. And I think if I could just reiterate that, because I think for me, that was the hardest part of this journey, was forgiving myself for the multiple mistakes that I made in my life and how I feel like it held me back. But I believe now that where I am is just where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to end up in this place, in this situation at this moment in time. And now I can embrace that. I'm okay with that. So if you're feeling like that, you're out there listening, do the work, get a therapist, get a coach. I have them, and really do the work on forgiving yourself. Don't worry about forgiveness of others, but you got to forgive you first. So that would be the last thing I would say.
This forgiving yourself is huge, and forgiveness is for us and not the other person. So remembering that along your journey, because we may never hear that I'm sorry from someone else, but you got to embrace forgiveness and being able to move past whatever it is that may be keeping you stuck. So that is huge. Now I have one last question, which happens to be my favorite question of the podcast, because this is a love letter to my younger self as I think about my journey of evolving and growing. So if you could have a conversation with your younger self, what would you say to her?
Wow, I think I saw a post something like this on Facebook, like what advice you. First one would be don't marry him. That would have been the first piece of advice. I think, and the second piece is, stop trying to get people to approve of you. I was a big people pleaser, really try to figure out what makes you happy, what you like. And it's okay for you to say no to somebody. If they don't like you because you said no, that's on them. Be strong enough to just please yourself. Now, not in a negative sense of the word, and I don't even think I should even give that disclaimer, but please yourself. Stop trying to please others. Oh my God, I spent my whole life being scared to tell people in my family, my parents, no. And I did some things, I put myself in situations that I truly regret. It caused damage in relationships because I wasn't honest, because I was scared that they wouldn't like me anymore or love me anymore because I was so busy trying to please them. And so if I could visit April at age 18, heck, age 15, I would say, do you please yourself. Everybody else, they'll get over it, especially adults, even your peers. Please yourself. Do what you think is best for you. Your intuition will never lie to you. It won't. And the more I remember my dad used to say, your conscience will talk to you. The more you ignore it, the lower the voice will become until it goes away. Listen to the inner voice. Listen to your conscience and follow that because it's not lying to you. But, if it's telling you to do something or not do something, trust yourself. Stop trying to please others. And I know I did that my whole life. And that would be something I would tell myself for sure. And definitely don't marry him. I could have had I could have had the kid, but I didn't have to marry the guy. So I didn't have to conform to the image of what the world says or the church says. I would definitely go back and say that God loves me, even though I did I got pregnant out of wedlock. He still loves me. Nothing I can do worse or better to gain his love. I would definitely tell me that. Yeah.
Well, Dr. April, thank you so much for spending some time with me this afternoon. I enjoyed our conversation and I enjoyed hearing your journey and sharing it with my audience. Now, how can we connect with you? For anyone that is interested in connecting with you, whether that's learning more about your journey, but then also understanding that money management is self-care, how can we connect with you?
Well, for starters, before I get into that, I just want to thank you for the work that you're doing in this space and helping us women become more in love with ourselves, more authentic, and really dig deep in taking care of ourselves. I don't think a lot of Black women are out there doing this type of coaching work, and I commend you because I remember this was a vision, and I'm so excited to see how it's morphing into what you originally wanted it to be. So you're cut out for this work. You're such a good listener. You pick up on things. You're just good, and I'm so proud of you. So I had to say that. I know this wasn't scripted, y'all, but I had to say that and put her on the spot because I remember when, and I'm just so happy because you really make us think about ourselves. One of your friends, she tells me all the time, like, "Oh my gosh, if Jessica hadn't done this, I wouldn't even done this for myself. She hadn't told me this. Like I sent flowers to myself. I literally buy flowers and put them on my bedroom and on my dining table. Cause why do I have to wait? So but it's you. It's the things I've seen on your podcast. It's the things I've seen on your social media that also wakes us up to loving ourselves. So thank you for that work. Really, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. How people can reach me, I'm on Instagram, either Dr. April Murdaugh, and if you guys heard of the Murdaugh murders, yes, that's my last name is spelled that way, Murdaugh. And then Woman to Woman Financial is my firm. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, and I have a website, Woman to Woman Financial as well. So either one of those, if you Google me, you'll find me and you'll be able to connect. If there's anything that I can do for anyone out there, it doesn't necessarily have to be money, although I'm not Jessica. So if you want the whole deep self-care coaching thing, I'm going to have to send you to her. But if there's anything that I can do to encourage you on your journey, I'm here.
Well, I appreciate all the kind words that you have shared. You have been instrumental in this journey. When I first started my intentional self-care journey is when someone referred me to you. So, although you are in the financial industry, I will have to say my conversations with you has helped me with prioritizing myself, not just financially, but pursuing my goals and my dreams. So, to go back to what you said about people in your circle, it is so important to surround yourself with people who will inspire you, encourage you, motivate you, push you, stretch you. You have stretched me. You have stretched me. So it is okay to have those people in your circle. And I just appreciate you being here and sharing that although that you are doing so many things that on the outside looking in, people are probably like, how is she doing it? You still can say that I make time to take care of myself. So I appreciate you. I thank everyone who listened in today. I hope that you were blessed. And until the next time, I will see you then. Have a great day.